I just made the ingenious move from sitting on the floor and filming my videos to sitting on my bed. So in today's video, I want to talk about something, it's just something really quick that I thought of after I cycled Doi Inthanon. Doi Inthanon is a 220-kilometer climb up the highest mountain in Thailand. And yeah, it has a reputation as being like a really difficult climb. Now there's a lot of difficult rides here in Thailand, and a lot of people, when we're like talking to each other about the different rides, like all the different cyclists, you know, obviously there are people here who've done them all, and yeah, everyone kind of talks about it to each other. And one of the main questions that anyone ever asks, like when they're talking to someone about like a new ride or something, or like especially Doi Inthanon, like one of the main questions is, do you think I'll be able to do it? That's what everybody kind of asks if they're kind of considering doing it. They will always ask someone's opinion at least once, do you think I could do it? So I'm pretty sure I've asked this question before, like to other cyclists, because everyone, you know, talks about the level of difficulty of, for example, you know, Inthanon and stuff, and you know, some people were like, I remember one person saying to me this year at the festival, she'd just done the climb, she's like, oh no, if you're not an experienced cyclist, I wouldn't recommend it, and she'd been cycling for like a year or something. But yeah, I have my own opinion on it. This could apply to not just, you know, this particular ride, but to any ride and that you're considering doing, and that you're kind of thinking about, is your level good enough? And not even just with cycling, like it can be with any sport. So yeah, the realization that I've come to is basically the only time I would recommend you not doing Inthanon, the only time I would recommend you not to do a demanding cycle would be if you don't want to. It's as simple as that. If you don't want to do it, then you're not going to do it. Don't do it. So in my opinion, obviously if you're considering doing a climb like Inthanon, I'm just going to use like that climb for the example throughout this video. Like obviously I don't want to talk about it too much, and there's loads of examples that I could use, but I'm just taking this one example because it's kind of like a rite of passage that all the kind of serious cyclists, or you know, anyone who's kind of ambitious and you know wants a challenge, that's something that it's kind of like a rite of passage here in Chiang Mai and for the Roto 4 bike crew. So basically a girl came with us to do Inthanon, and from the beginning she wasn't sure if she was going to cycle the mountain or not. She was going to come with us for the flat ride there, but she didn't know if she was going to actually cycle the mountain. So first off, you don't start off Doi Inthanon without knowing that you're going to do it. You know, when you leave Chiang Mai, you have to know that you're going to do it. You don't leave Chiang Mai not knowing if you are going to do the mountain or not. And this is not because it takes like weeks or days in advance of like mental or physical preparation, but it's just that the mindset like that you have when you leave Chiang Mai is so important. You know, you have to want to do it, you have to be sure you're going to do it, it has to be your plan that you're going to do it, and you have to be excited to do it as well. And that's like the thing, you can't be excited about it if you don't want to do it, and they're like the two most important things for a ride like Inthanon. You have to be excited to do it, and to be excited to do it, you have to want to do it. And I just want to say as like a disclaimer, if you don't want to do it, then that's totally fine as well. Like that's just totally fine. No one has to do like epic massive rides to be like a really great cyclist and, you know, fit and healthy and happy. But I'm just talking about if you are considering doing a ride like this, you have to want to do it, and you have to commit to it mentally and physically, because if you're not connected mentally, if you're not committed mentally, then physically it's not going to be as powerful. Your physical strength is not going to come into full force. It's not going to reach its full potential. So this is what I realized for Inthanon or any big ride. You have to want to do it. You have to want to do it. And of course, like a lot of people talk about, you know, their fitness capabilities and fitness levels and physical, you know, potential, and like whether they'll physically be able to get up the mountain. And I feel like I've asked myself this before every really long ride, and like when I've looked at a hill before me and thought like, this is so steep. And when you're removed from it, and when you're just, say if you're like watching a video or something and you see how steep it is and you're not actually there, you're kind of thinking, oh my god, will I be able to do that? Like, no, I won't be able to do that. Like, you can't imagine yourself actually doing it. But when you're there, I'm not saying it's easy or anything, but you're there because you want to be there, so you do it. And there's kind of like a physical and mental kind of part of this, because practically when you're cycling up a mountain, like in clip-in pedals, you know, you can't just stop, you know, you have to, and it's very difficult when you're, you know, really tired and giving it socks up the mountain. You know, you don't realize how little energy you have left to actually pull your feet out from the clip-in pedals, unless they're like really loosely set up. But you know, I can't imagine stopping on any like the steepest hill. Like, I can only imagine it being more pain for me if I stop and fall over, because that's really the only choice you have if you want to stop on a really steep hill, is to just kind of fall to the side because you're like clipped in. For me, that's kind of like, it would be more painful falling over that way than it would be to, you know, keep going up to the top of this hill. And like the psychological aspect of it is important as well, because it's a hill and you just have to get up the hill, you know? There's obviously a certain amount of fitness level required to do these rides. There's someone who have kind of mentioned during the festival, no, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone except experienced riders. Like, it's just not true. It's all about your mental strength and what you believe yourself to be capable of doing. Now, of course, there are exceptions. Not everyone is going to do Inthanon because of their fitness level, and like they're not going to want to do Inthanon because they're not fit enough. So it's the same thing. If they're not fit enough to do it, they're not going to want to do it, so they're not going to do it. But if you are considering doing it and you want to do it, then you're going to do it. And that's what you have to tell yourself. And I'm not saying, well, I am saying everyone go out and do Inthanon, but like on the other side of the coin, I'm not saying everyone can do Inthanon. I'm not saying that everyone can do Inthanon, that it's as easy as that. But I'm talking about you, and that if you have considered doing it and you're asking that question, if you're asking someone else, do you think I'll be able to do that? They can never know like your mental capacities. No matter how well they know you, you know best how far you can push yourself that way. And I'm not saying like kill yourself going up this mountain, like can be like an absolute pain. Like, you have to enjoy it, and not enjoy the pain, but enjoy like the exercise and like the physical movement of your body, and like the different kind of potentials that you're realizing in the moment. And like when you reach the top of that hill, yeah, there's probably like another 8 kilometers of hill left before you get any sort of relief. But hills don't last forever, and what goes up must come down. So yeah, like that would really be my advice, and kind of what I came away from Doi Inthanon. That's what I came away from it thinking. I thought that the only reason I would recommend someone didn't do that ride, or any ride like that, but especially that ride, is if you don't want to do it. And if you don't want to do it, then that's fine, like who cares? This is another thing. No one cares whether you do Inthanon or not. No one cares whether you have cycled like 550 kilometers this week or 1,000 kilometers in like 2 weeks or whatever. No one really cares. It's all about you, for you, and you doing you. It's your achievement. It's your process. It's your day. It's your climb, and everything that you feel and experience during that ride is yours. If you want to do it, then you're going to be able to do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Give this a like and subscribe if you're not already. I've linked my Strava and Instagram in the description below if you want to go follow me there. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!